Anybody in yet?
1 second. No, it's gonna take a moment. Let me see. Okay, the phone is got the volume down. Right, we are on, but let me do this right. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to this live. It is actually an interview with it's gonna take a moment. Paul, here it is. Yes. Hello everyone. We're gonna be together 1 hour with Paul Nevin from Dublin, Ireland. But because it's the first time, this is actually, Paul, you're my first one. This is my first live interview on Bridges of Light International. Adel, she's looking, so we are on. Can just everybody confirm that you're seeing us and hearing us okay? Fantastic, they are. So we're just gonna wait a few more moments.
Yeah.
As always, I always like to open the lives, unless when I forget, saying thank you very much for you that are watching this with us. You're gonna spend the hour together. Thank you that are watching this later on tonight or tomorrow or whenever it is. Thank you for participating. Thank you, Bridges of Light International, for giving us the opportunity to be here, to share and to grow. And thank you, Live. And okay, I can see the comments now. Hello, Mirella. Hello, Silvia. I'm not going to say hello to everybody, otherwise it would take me too long. But if you have questions, ask them. But let's start. Paul, so who is Paul? And what is it that you do? I know you're an energy healer, and I'm curious. And you actually do quite a lot, quite a different modality. And also, I've heard and read that you do shamanic healing. So I'm just very intrigued. So if you just want to let us know who you are and what you do, and what brought you to do what you do.
Okay, well, it's a long story. I'm also an author. I wrote a book called Surviving Their Love. Okay.
Thank you.
What brought me to this was years and years and years ago, a very long time ago. I'm a lot older than I look, but years ago, it was Native American tradition brought me to it. I had looked at Wicca, I had looked at other forms of healing. I looked at Reiki, I looked at lots of different things. And I spent time with druids and all that stuff. But what brought me to this was the Native American shamanism, a way of life is about truth, honor, and respect. Okay. So to live in that way means that you live by your heart. Okay. So you do what's right. And it all begins and ends with you. And that was one thing that I realized a long time ago. Everything in your life is not outside you, it's within you. So it all begins and ends with you.
Beautiful.
So when you go to bed at nighttime and you put your head on the pillow and just before you go to sleep, whatever that thought is, okay? And then in the morning you wake up and the first thing that comes into your head, those thoughts are yours. You're responsible for those thoughts, okay? What you do with them, you're responsible. So you can't say because my father was this or my mother did this or somebody didn't love me enough or somebody didn't. This is why I am the way I am. You're not that way. You're that way because you choose to be that way. So everything begins and ends with you. First thought in the morning, last thought at night, they're yours. And every single one in between is yours. So you're in control. And that's what we need to understand. It's about living with your heart. It's about living honestly. So speak your mind, speak your truth. You don't have to have a fan club. It doesn't matter if people don't understand. But as long as you're living truthfully, when you put your head down at nighttime and you're going to sleep, and all the people that you love and you care about are all strong, healthy, and well, you've had a great day, regardless of whatever happened in between. We live in a society where we have to, sort of abide by certain rules and certain regulations, but that does not mean, that they are our rules and regulations. We just have to live with it, and that's that. The rest of it is down to you, and how you live is down to you.
Wonderful. I totally agree with you. That's how I perceive things to be as well. But I have a question for you. What about if somebody like you already mentioned it, And this is what normally people say, like, oh, but I can't help it. I think the way I think because of the family I was brought up with, because of my education, because of the culture. So what advice would you give to somebody like that? That they would say, this is just who I am.
Okay. Well, what I'd say to somebody like that is this. If you feel that you're not in control, then you're not. Because if you feel that this is outside you, then it's outside you. Okay. Like if somebody was nasty to you or somebody did something to you that hurt you, okay, you've got a choice to make. You can say, I'm going to do this to somebody else. You can behave in that fashion because you want to behave in that fashion, not because you have to. Because you can also say, I don't want to do that. I want to do this differently. I know what hurt feels like, and I don't want to do that to somebody else, and I don't want to hurt somebody else. So you got to break the cycle. Like I said at the very start, everything begins and ends with you. Right. You're the one in control. It doesn't matter what anybody else did. But as long as you behave in that destructive fashion, then people are going to say, he, she, they are a dickhead. They're behaving in a certain fashion. But you're choosing to behave that way. You know, like I can say to you, my father did this, and this, you know, and then you've got to go, did I feel that was right? No, because that hurt me and it made things difficult for me. So I had to learn not to behave in that way. You know, you take a baby, okay, baby's totally innocent. That doesn't know black, white, green, pink, yellow, or anything else. It doesn't know anything about color. It doesn't know about creed, race. It doesn't understand any anger. It doesn't understand anything. What it understands is, mommy picks him up, there's love there. And the first thing that we're born with is love. And it's the first emotion that we feel. Then we take this child and we say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. You shouldn't like this, you don't do that. This is wrong, that's wrong. He's not a good person, she's not a good person, they're not good people. And the child develops this anger inside them and this frustration, and they don't understand why they don't like the person. It's just because they're different, okay? And that's what people teach their children. Now I say this, and it's going to be a little bit there, right? You know, there's me, okay? And I came from my mother and my father. My mother came from a mother and a father, my father came from a mother and a father, and so on and so on and so back. And it's an upside down pyramid. And that comes down to you, okay? So you are the end product of all of this teaching, okay? And remember, back in the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s, up into today, everything has changed. So what was relevant in the 16, 17, 18, 1900s with your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents is not relevant now. But even if you go back 2 generations, your parents and your grandparents, the teachings are not relevant now, okay? Things are so different. From when I grew up, I knew nothing about computers. We could never have done this. You know what I mean? And we would have been lucky if we had a phone that you had to dial and wait for the number to come back. But we would never have been able to talk like this. So everything has changed, okay? And we have to adapt to all those changes. And it's the same in your life. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what happened. What matters is how you adapt and how you change. And if you want to be what we call, I don't like the word victim, okay? But if you want to be a victim of someone else's cruelty or someone else's even uneducation, okay, then you be that way. But it's your choice.
Yes. Yes, you seem to be very matter-of-fact, pragmatic, cut the crap, go to the point kind of guy, which respect to that. My question is,
it gets me into trouble.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, but that's good trouble. I think we need troublemakers like you. But my question is, I'm curious, have you always been like this? In other words, yeah, I mean, have you always been, is this something that you think you always knew, or something happened in your life and you were exposed or acquired this consciousness, so to speak?
Okay, when I was a little boy, I could see spirit and I could see things, and I used to talk to spirit, okay? And my mother always said to me, you know, if you look in the mirror, there's an exercise. If you look in the mirror, you can see your spirit guides, okay, under the right circumstances, okay? And it's very easy. But I was always looking in the mirror, okay? And I was always talking, and my mother said to me, that's the devil's work. You don't be doing that. That's bad. You know, you're going to bring the devil into your life. Okay. So I kind of had to pull back from it. And I did for many years. And as I got older then, I went through some experiences in my life that were not good. Okay. And it's in the book. The whole story is in the book. But at one point, I used to think that the devil came to me. Okay. At nighttime when I was in bed, the devil used to come to me. And I could feel the pressure of him on my body. And I could feel his breath and I could feel the stress of it, you know. And I was so frightened I wasn't able to talk. I wasn't able to do anything, right? And that was when things started to change for me because I couldn't understand what was happening, right? And I went through it and I kind of grew up. And then when I was around 25, 26 years old.
How old were you when you saw what you thought you saw the devil? How old were you? Remind me.
Oh, young, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9. Yeah, I was young. So what happened was I kind of pulled away from all this spirituality. And as I got older, I used to have then what they call now night terrors. You know? So I would be in bed with my wife or, you know, and I wasn't able to move. And I'm lying on my back. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I can't even call her or reach out for her, you know, and I'm so frightened. And I went through those terrors and I could never, you know, get over it. Then we had my little girl. I had my son first, and he was beautiful and still is. And the moment I saw him, I fell in love with him. You know, and I'm still in love with him today. And my daughter, the same. Now, when they came, it brought that protection mechanism or kicked off something in me. So I then got very protective of my children. And I went through a phase where I wouldn't sleep because I was afraid the devil would come for my kids.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So I thought this pattern was repeating because it started to happen to me again. So I got frightened and I got scared. And then I said, you know, my wife used to say to me, babe, you got to sleep, you got to rest, you know. And I said, no, when the children are in the morning, when the light comes up, everything will be okay. And then I go to work. And I worked in a very violent situation and I was very violent myself. And I wanted to, because I was afraid, it was all fear-based, you know. So if somebody challenged me, it was fear-based. The first thing was fight. That was my way. It was what I did. So I got into that sort of lifestyle and I was living that lifestyle and I was going home and I was awake and I was afraid and everything else, you know. And then I was sitting in a chair one night and my grandmother came to me. My grandmother's spirit came to me, right? Yeah. And she touched my face like she always did when I was little because I lived with her for a while. And she said to me, everything will be okay, baby. I'll watch them for you, okay? And I could smell her and I could feel her and I went to sleep. When I woke up, my children were fine. When, from that point, I started to get stronger and stronger and stronger then. So when the night terrors came, I would force myself to look to try and see what it was, you know, what was holding me down. And I'd fight against it and fight against it. And then eventually I turned and I could see what it was. Okay. And for me, from that point forward, I've never been afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anything. You know, life I know and my Native American traditions have taught me that life is here now. Okay. We don't have yesterday and we don't have tomorrow. And, you know, nobody is promised either, you know, so you live for today and you live the best you can. So live with a good heart, live with an honest heart, and treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, my daughter used to get really peed off with me because anywhere I went in the world, you know, in America, I lived in America for years, and anywhere I went in the world, people would stop and talk to me. And I'd stop and talk to these people. I didn't care if they were kings or if they were trumps. I would talk to anybody and we'd sit and we'd have a laugh. And that's the way life should be lived, you know, open and honest. Everybody, look, we've all got our stuff. We've all got stuff that we've got to deal with, but nobody is any better than anybody else. It doesn't matter what money you have. It doesn't matter where you come from. At the end of the day, when they put you in the box, you go in that box alone. You don't take your car, your house, your money, or anything else. Yes. What you leave behind is the love that you have or had for them. And what you take with you is the love that they have for you. And that's all that goes on, you know. Yeah. Then we go back to the source or God or Allah or Buddha or whoever you think it is or wherever you think it is. And that's okay because we're all entitled to our own beliefs.
Wow. Thank you. for sharing that. And there's somebody asked a question. I think you almost answered it, but maybe go a little bit deeper in it. Stefania asked, how did Paul overcome his fears? Just a matter of faith?
No, it wasn't, because it was facing the fear. You know, the best way to overcome any fear, okay, is to look at it and see it for what it is. And what it is your mind, it's your thought. That's what it is. The fear is in here. It's a feeling, it's a thought, you know, which creates a feeling, and that feeling is fear. But every emotion that we have, we can control. You know, if what was that lady's name?
Stefania.
If Stefania, I'm sure at some stage in her life, has walked into a room and she's seen somebody and got her a feeling about it, right? Or seen somebody that she disliked, right? And this person said to them, oh, how are you doing, right? And she wanted to say, go stuff yourself, okay? But she said, I'm doing good, thank you, okay? And that's your control, that's you. So you can bring that into your fear too. Fear is only a feeling, it's only an emotion. There's nothing can hurt us. The only thing can hurt us is our fear. And our fear of what can hurt us is what hurts us. But there is no fear, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Wonderful, great explanation. And Stefania, she wrote, gosh. I think she liked your answers. You know, where did you get, I'm looking right and on my iPad at your website, and it says Trinity Health and Wellness, and underneath there's your name, Paul Anthony, and then in brackets that's Grey Wolf. What does that mean? Great.
That means I'm very dangerous. It means I'm old. It means I'm old and I'm a dog. No, basically what it means is, when I did ceremony with the Native Americans, because I've gone to America to do ceremony with them, and that's where it all began for me.
There's the shamanism.
And the shamanism, yeah. And I was in a sweat lodge, and I sat in the sweat lodge, did the sweat lodge, and when the sweat lodge was finished, the shaman said to me, "You are a Grey Wolf, the spirit warrior." Okay, right. So I'm actually Grey Wolf, the spirit warrior, right. The spirit warrior, yeah. And when I learned how to journey and how to travel, you know, and go into the different worlds and different things, I would go in, if somebody had a fear like herself, then I would go, when I'm working with her, I would meditate on her, and I would go into the spirit world to bring back whatever it was that was needed for the healing of her, okay? Yeah. But the Grey Wolf came from a shaman. That was my name, that was my given name.
Ah, wonderful. By the way, Stefania says thanks.
She's welcome. Very welcome.
Yes. Yes. How would you define, by the way, guys, you guys are watching this live, if you have any questions for Paul, write them down and he's going to answer them. But I have a question myself. You know, how would you define a warrior? Let's say a warrior of light, or a spiritual warrior.
Okay. Well, a lot of people's perceptions of a warrior is somebody who goes out and fights, okay, and is into warring as in warrior, okay. But my definition of a warrior is the very same as Sitting Bull's definition. Now, I have a very close connection with Sitting Bull, and the reason for that, and as strange as this is going to sound, I believe that I was him in another lifetime, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So my definition of a warrior is a person, it can be male, female, it's not necessarily male, who will stand for what's right. You know, you don't hate what's in front of you, you love what's behind you. Okay, so you're there to protect and take care of those that are not strong enough to do it for themselves. Yeah. In today's society, that would be children and your loved ones. Okay, so in my situation, it would be my woman, my wife, or the people that I love. I'll stand for them. Okay, and I'll stand in front of them to protect them, okay, and from everything. So that's what a warrior is. He stands for what he loves and for what he believes in. He takes care of his people. And so that can be your village in the old days. It can be your family now, okay, or the people you love and care about. And that's where you step up. That's when you're a warrior, when you're willing to protect them. That's what we do. And that's what we're supposed to do. Whether you're male or female is irrelevant. Again, as I said, it's not conducive to males only. It's a thing that we're there to love and protect those behind us. As I said, you don't hate what's in front of you. You love what's behind you. What's in front of you, you're going to have to deal with.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. So a protector, and I like the analogy of, well, which is true, of loving what's behind us. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks. Mariella is asking, Paul, do you think our mind is able to control our feelings, to control our heart's love affairs?
Yes. Yeah, we are. Everything is in your mind. You know, like when you look at somebody, you don't feel they're beautiful. Okay, you think they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you think, and as you get to know them, the beauty comes. Okay, so you start to understand the person. Yeah. So your mind is the key thing. Now, they can go into your head, they can work on your brain. Okay, they can go into your chest and work on your heart.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to work in your mind is suggestion. They can't touch it.
Yes.
So all they can do is suggest. Your mind then takes this suggestion, brings it into wherever it wants to be, and then it'll manifest in whatever way. Now, it can manifest inside you, or it can manifest outside. But the bottom line is that no, your mind is going to tell you. Yes. This is where we all begin. Okay, so my mind says to me, I don't like him. Mm. Okay, so my heart feels that.
Yes.
Okay, I don't like him. Right, so now I'm starting to develop this energy inside me, which would be frustration, anger, whatever it might be. Now I have a decision to make. Yeah. Do I go over to him and confront him, or do I control it and say, it's not important? Okay, that's all mind. Okay, so you do control yourself with your mind, but you have to keep your mind open. You know, we unfortunately, I see, and I mean, particularly at this time with COVID and everything else, everything is fear-based. Yes. You know, people are not smiling anymore. People are not being friendly anymore. People are reporting on each other. People are doing all this stuff, and it's all based in fear because we're told a certain thing. Now, it's our choice to believe it or not. For myself, at a personal level, and it's controversial, and I'm sure somebody's going to go, it's very simple.
Yeah.
A virus that's 98% success rate, okay, is not a deadly virus. Yes, people have died from it, but people have died from the flu and other things. Are they deadly? Yeah, if they are, people are dying from them. Yes. But at a 98% recovery rate, yes. Right? Why do we need a vaccine? You know, and then people are going, oh, you. Okay, but that's just fear. Okay, if you look at things logically and break it down and ask yourself the simple question, you know, you find your answers, but it all is here in your mind.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And Sylvia has another question. I'll read it. I don't know what it is. I'm reading it live now. Sylvia asks, I've been having a strange experience for a few years, occurring usually in times of major stress. At night, when I sleep on my own, the mattress on the vacant side moves as if somebody sat on it. If I try to ignore it, it becomes stronger. Paul, please, what do you think it is?
Okay. Ask Sylvia what is her feeling? Is she afraid? Or does she feel comfortable? Okay.
Yes.
So if she's creating a fear, okay, she's creating an energy that's fearful.
Yes.
Right. Now, your loved ones will come to you in your times of stress. Okay. And sometimes when I'm asleep, they talk to me. I hear their voices, okay? And I kind of go, oh, and I will hear it as audible as I'm speaking with you. Yes. And I go, oh, what was that? You know, who said that? You know, and that's okay, because spirits will meet us, okay? And they'll come and help us. And the ones that love us most will always come to help us.
Yes.
You've got your spirit guides, you've got archangels, you've got, well, there is only one archangel, and he's Michael. The others are angels. And you've got your family.
Yes.
You know, like your grandparents or your mother or whoever's gone on, or somebody that you love. There's always somebody there looking out for us, okay? So we've nothing to fear from them. What we have to fear is our fear. Right. What's that beside me on the bed? Yes. You know, if I try to ignore that, maybe they're looking for your attention, Sylvia, to tell you everything is okay, sweetheart. Don't be panicking.
Thank you. Sylvia, she just answered your question. She says, I'm quite anxious about it. Don't really like it.
Okay. Because that's her fear coming in. Okay, so here's two things that Sylvia needs to do. Okay, she needs to ask, who are you?
I, yeah.
And then if she doesn't get an answer, a good answer, or doesn't get a good feeling, then she asks it to go away. We are in control. There's no negative entity or negative energy can control us as long as we are aware.
Yes.
And she is aware of this energy. She can ask it to leave.
Right.
She can ask her guides. She can ask her angels to take it away, and it'll go. There'll be no questions. There'll be no fight. It will go.
Beautiful.
It will be taken out.
Thank you. But
she has nothing to be afraid of.
Thank you. But you suggest, which makes sense, to be forced to send him or her away. Well, send it away. To ask, who are you? I like that. So
who is it?
Yes, yeah, who is it? And then, okay. So if we were disturbed by something out of the norm, you just say, you just command it to go, just leave.
Yeah, and it will leave. There's no energy, there's no negative energy will stay in the presence of light. So if you tell it to leave, it will leave.
Yes, thank you. By the way, there's another question, but Mariella says, by the way, Mariella, thank you. You answered a question before. And she's writing, so our mind works to ensure our heart a long life without defaults.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our minds tell us things that we don't really want to know. And they do things to us that we don't want to know. Yeah. So, I think he's beautiful. I love him. And it's just, yeah, okay. He's not as beautiful as you thought.
And Roysing is asking, how can you control the frustration of things that are out of control?
It's only out of control if you allow it to be out of control, okay? Because everything begins and ends with you. So let's just say somebody's frustrating you, or there's a situation that's frustrating you, okay? The more you allow your body and yourself to absorb that frustration, the bigger that frustration is going to get, okay? The worse you're going to feel, the bigger that frustration is going to get. Your fear is going to come in because now I don't have control of this. Yes. And the bigger that frustration is going to get. Till it overwhelms you and you can't, then you've got no control because you're not in mind, okay? Come back to mind, be mindful. This is me, I am here. This situation is around me, okay? Now, if Luca is controlling this situation around me, I can only do two things. I can allow him, or I can say, Luca, go away. This situation is finished. If your frustration is getting to you, if the situation is getting to you, you've got to ask yourself two things. Is it worth your heart? Is it worth your time? And let it go. Because it doesn't matter how frustrated you get, you're not going to solve the problem. Be mindful, step back, look at the situation and say, who's in control here, you or me? Then take your power back.
Thank you very much. By the way, Sylvia writes, thank you so much. And she also brought, I did say a couple of times, please, I know you are here for me, but I am afraid, so please go. And this is a question from me to Sylvia. And when you said that, Sylvia, did they go? Those couple of times, or did they stay? Paul, but this is also why, by the way, guys, ask questions. But in the meantime, I ask my own question because I'm curious. You seem to know a lot of interesting things. And do you know what? I never had anything. I never saw any spirits that I'm aware of, or heard voices. But since I was a very young kid, and I still am interested about anything and everything that you can see. My question is, do you think that, and well, I think it's almost like a gift that we are born with, the one of hearing people from the other side of the veil and see and whatever else? Yeah.
No, is it a gift? Well, that depends on how you look at it, because Sylvia's having issues with entities coming in and being aware of those entities. Yeah. So is that a gift? No. Right. But we are the gift, okay? And all this stuff that we have, everybody is able for it. Everybody can do this. Yeah. It's not you and me, Luca, and it's not all these other people that we know that are in the spirit, the likes of Adele and this. Adele, when I met Adele, 20 years ago, right? I met her in Stansted and I fell in love with her that day, okay? And I'm still in love with her today. She's my best friend and I think the world of her. Now, Adele developed her skills over time. I developed my skills over time.
Yes.
But there were times when Adele would be in Italy and I would be in Ireland, and we would meditate together. I could tell Adele what she was wearing, and she could tell me what I was wearing. Okay. And sometimes we would journey together. Okay. And we'd fly over different things. And I would describe what she was seeing, and she'd describe what I was seeing.
Wow.
And that's a connection that I have with that lady. And as I said, I love her to bits, and I love her forever. She's an amazing lady. But like myself and her, everybody has this, okay? But like I said, when I was a kid, I was told it was a bad thing. Don't do that. That's not it. That's a bad thing. So we are taken out of it. And it's society and society's beliefs that teach us not to connect with spirit, not to connect with what and who we are. We are just energy. Okay, that's all we are. We manifest in this form because on this planet, we need to breathe oxygen and nitrogen and all these other things, right? So we manifest at this frequency because we're all frequency, okay? Yeah. We're just a lot denser. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but we are a lot thicker. And so we vibrate here. Good one, yeah. This thing that we are, okay, this energy that we are goes on past us, past this lifetime, past this body. So when we come in, we have it, okay? We're taught not to use it. We're taught not about it. But when you go back, to the Celts, to the Native Americans, to all these other people and traditions, they're all steeped in this energy, okay? The energy of the trees, the sky, the air, the water, everything has energy, okay? And we are energy. Now, as I said, we come in, and we're taught not to do it. So we don't do it. Some of us come in and we're not interested. We don't look at it. So we're not interested in it. So we carry on our lives, and people like you and I are crazy, and they're all sane because we want that. But I firmly believe we're all capable of it. We all have it in us. It is what we are and who we are. So any one of us can tap into that at any time. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there have had what we call the sixth sense. You walked into a place and said, "Oh, I shouldn't be here. Oh, I don't like him. There's a reason for this. I can't understand it, but I'm not getting a good feeling here." Okay. We all have it. It's just practice. If you want to be a good golfer, you practice. If you want to be a good soccer player, you practice. If you want to be a good pianist, you practice. Okay. You want to be a good spiritualist, pick your modem and practice.
Yes.
I as you see on my website, I cover a lot of stuff. And I've just finished a course in integrating psychology into shamanic healing. I just did it a couple of weeks ago, so I just got qualified in it. And it's basically a concept of, we're human,
yes,
and we're also spiritual, okay, but we're emotional. So we need to look at the human and the spiritual part and cover the emotional part, and that's what we're doing. Emotion obviously is fear and laughter and joy and all these other things. But this is an integration of three. And my company is called Trinity Health and Wellness, because I believe that, one, we are the Trinity. I am mind, I am body, I am spirit.
Yes.
Okay. If my mind is out of joint, there's a problem. If my body's out of joint, there's a problem. And if my spirit's out of joint, there's a problem. Okay. And if any of them are out, then we're not well. So we've got to balance the three. And that's what Trinity is about. It's about mind, body, and spirit. And it's about us.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. By the way, Sylvia says, or Roisin says, thank you for answering her question. And Sylvia says, because we asked her, did they go away when she ordered them to go away? And she's writing, yes, they did, but they returned after a while.
They have a message for her. Okay.
Yes.
So, she's going to have to firstly understand who they are. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. So like I say, ask them who they are, what they want, and they will tell you. You'll get a feeling. It's not going to be a voice in your head like you and I are speaking. It'll be a thought. Yeah. So tell her to trust her instinct.
Yes.
Right. So if she's lying there and she says, "Who are you?" and it says, "I'm your grandmother."
Yes.
That's who it is. Okay. And then you go, okay, tell me about you. Tell me what you want me to know. And then listen to the message.
Yes.
Generally, it will be somebody she loves, because I don't think, as I said, if she's asked her to go away, ask her if it's negative, you know, ask her to tell her guides to take it away and keep it away, and they will.
Yes.
But if it's somebody who loves her, they're going to come back till she gets the message. There's a message there for her. She needs to find out what it is.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, she didn't write that she asked them who they were. So I guess, well, she heard you anyway. So hopefully she will ask them if they appear again. But it makes sense, as you said, if they come back, they probably have a message. Otherwise, yes, there must be a reason why they're there. And Stefania is asking, how can I see my guardian angels, please?
Okay, there's a mirror exercise that will show you them, okay? Okay. What you do is you sit in front of a mirror and you put candles to the outside. Okay, so there's light there, but not a lot of light. And the candles are not reflecting in the mirror, okay? Then you sit in front of the mirror, okay, as a mirror exercise, and you look at yourself, but you don't look with your eyes. So you let your eyes fade away and you look kind of through yourself, okay? That will show you your higher guides, okay? Your face will change, okay? Sometimes, you know, people say it shows who they were in a past life, okay? So your face will change. When that happens, a lot of people go, oh, you know, because they see, oh, what's that, you know, and they go back out of it. But stay in it and stay as relaxed as you can. And they'll show themselves, ask them to show themselves.
Wow, that's intriguing. Let me repeat this if I understood, because who knows, I might try. So no lighting, just 2 candles at the side with a mirror in front. And you look at your image, but you don't focus on your image. You let it blur almost, and then you see what appears. Wow.
Yes. Make sure the candles are not reflecting in the mirror, because if they're in your eye line, they're gonna kind of flutter at your eye. So make sure they're out of the mirror line, but just enough light behind you. Okay. Yes. And then just sit and focus on what's in front of you. There's another thing too for people who say you can't see auras and you don't see auras, and it's a very simple exercise. You walk into a bedroom, you turn off the light, close the curtains, okay, everything. Put your hand on the wall, right? Turn off the light, and you'll see your energy field around your hand. That's your aura.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Right. So, but it has to be from light to darkness straight away. So make sure the room is dark. Make sure you close everything off. Then switch off the light and look at your hand on the wall, and you'll see your energy field. You'll see your aura.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And you know, I love when, well, it's my first interview, but so I love what people would say, but I love that you give us something practical to do. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. By the way, I'm excited because Sylvia, by the way, she said 2 hearts and the thank you for what you said. And Stefania, she said, I'll do it. I get the mirror and the candles exercise. I'll do it too. Mariella says, so special. Thank you. And there's a question Paul asked. Let me see. No, sorry, it was for you. Sorry, Mariella is asking. Paul, you talk about spirituality. Can I ask you, what's your position, your thought about God? Thanks.
Okay. God is you, God is me, and God is everybody. We are God. Okay, we're a part of that energy that is God. God's not outside us. Religions are conditioned. They're man-made, okay, and they teach us God is outside us. He's in heaven, which is probably up there somewhere, and he's sitting on a big chair waiting, you know. Now, in the Catholic religion, you know, God is very vengeful, but then on the other hand, God's all forgiving. So it's a contradiction, and it's based in fear. And all religions are based on condition. Okay, the condition is fear. They teach us fear. If you don't do what God says, you get punished. There were people who were natural healers, like witches and so on, and the Catholic Church burned them at the stake, and they did dreadful things to them. Okay, and that's the way it is. So as regards God, she is God, I am God, you're God. Okay, and we're part of the same energy that is God. When my father died, okay, I thought of him as a drop of water. Okay, and that water, that drop of water hit the ocean, and he became part of the whole again. So he was an ocean and part of an ocean, and he was part of the whole spiritual thing again. So he was everywhere all at once, as we're told God is. Okay, and we become part of everything again. We become part of energy. That's why I could feel my father when I was in America, and my sister can feel her in Dublin. And, you know, so because he's everywhere, we become part, that energy that we are becomes part of the whole. There's nothing outside us.
Yes.
Okay. There's nothing outside us. We're it, you know, and we, you know, there are beliefs that when we pass over, we meet all our loved ones again. I believe that belief to be, we become part of that energy again. We become part of the whole. So now we're with all the people we've loved. And then we have a decision if we want to come back and play again or if we want to stay out of here. But there is nothing outside us. And I believe there's nothing outside us. And I do believe in Jesus, you know, and I also believe I walked with Jesus when he was here. I've shared many, many lifetimes with many, many different people. And Adele is one that we've shared quite a few lifetimes together, and we've experienced that. And that's my belief. But there's nothing outside us. God's not outside us, and he's nothing to be feared. You know, the only thing to fear is human condition.
Yes. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. Now, Letitia is asking, as far as I know, you have to protect yourself before doing this mirror exercise. What can you recommend in this regard?
Okay. The prayer I do before I do anything, you know, when I'm working, when I'm healing with people and everything else, what I say is this: I now know that my aura is cleared and healed and closed to all but the Christ vibration. I thank Spirit, so it is. Okay?
Yes.
So that means that your aura now is cleared, it's healed, and it's sealed. So nothing can penetrate that. Okay? You've spoken to God, you've spoken to Jesus, and you've said, so it is. Yes. It's done. And that's your protection. That's my protection. That's how I protect myself. I do that when I'm working with people. When people come in and I have them on a plinth, depending on whatever healings, I do it anyway. Because, you know, I've worked with people who've had a lot of negative energy. I've worked with people with cancer. When I work with people with cancer, I smell it. Okay, so I know that it's there. My hands become tacky. It's like there's glue on my hands, and I kind of, right? And that's what cancer feels and smells like to me. Okay, and I work with people with that. I've also done distance healing where a lady said to me one time, we were talking, and I've been talking to her for a while, and she said to me, I just been to my doctor and I got bad news today. And I said, what's your bad news? And she said to me, I have cancer. Yes. And I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I said, what I did then was I tuned into her. Yes. Okay. And I said to her, I don't think you have cancer. Right. And she said to me, but how would you know? And I said, because I can't smell it and I don't feel sick. Wow. Okay. Because I want to vomit when I smell it. Right. And I said, I can't smell it and I don't feel sick. Now she's on Facebook, she's a friend, and if anybody asks her, she will definitely say this is true. Yeah. So I said to her, could you do me a favor? I said, and send me a photograph of you. I said, where they say the cancer is. So she sent me a photograph of her head to her torso, her torso, okay, to her waist. And I looked at it for about a couple of seconds and I felt it. And I said to her, no, you don't have cancer. You have IBS or you have something more serious than that, okay? She has Crohn's disease. She doesn't have cancer, yes. Okay? So cancer to me is a very bad smelling thing, okay? So when you're working, you have to protect yourself against all these things. Right. When I work with my hands and I'm working with people, I stop it at my hands. The energy only goes as far as my hands. And then I wash my hands when I'm finished. Right.
Thank you. When you were talking about protecting yourself, doing the mirror exercise, what would you say about, let's say, praying or doing a ritual in our daily life, not because of what we do, and you know, even for somebody, let's say, that doesn't do any healing work, would you recommend they do anything, they say anything, they?
Okay, see, people have this concept of I'm praying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Please God.
Yeah.
Okay, they have this, please God, this, and they're asking outside themselves. Okay. And you don't ask outside yourself, you ask within yourself. And within yourself is your protection because we're connected. Okay, so we're all one. So there's nothing outside us. Okay, but what I would say is this: ritual. Before I do a healing, I meditate. Okay, and I light some incense and I light a candle, and I'll sit and I listen to some music. Okay, and that will tell my mind, we're going to do this now. I'm getting set up. That's what ritual is about. Yeah. It's about setting you up for what you're about to do.
Right.
So if people feel they want to get on their knees at nighttime and kneel beside the bed and pray and thank God and everything else, go do it. That's fine. That's okay, because that's you. That's what you're doing, and that's okay. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. And if people want to scream, out loud and howl at the moon, off you go. Happy days. It's no problem. Whatever you want to do, whatever makes you comfortable, whatever makes you feel safe, whatever ritual you have, go with it. Do it. It's not right. It's not wrong. It just is.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Stefania says, you're a very magnetic man.
Very what now?
Magnetic.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I could attract some shit.
Thank you. Letitia says, she asked about protecting ourselves before the mirror exercise. And she's writing, yes, I do the same. Thank you for sharing. And then there's another question from Roisin. She says, would Paul be able to help my friend who is very ill in ICU with a ruptured cerebral aneurysm for the past 2 weeks and still remains on a ventilator and remains critically ill?
Okay. I would say this. Your friend is in a medical situation, okay? And everybody around her has this belief that this rupture is a major problem. It is a major problem at a physical level. Does your friend believe that spirituality or a spiritual healer can help her? If the answer to that is yes, my friend believes that, then yes, I believe I can help. But if the answer to that, your friend does not believe in spirituality or in spiritual healing in that way, then the answer is no. Because if our clients or if the people that we're working with don't believe what's happening,
right,
it's not going to happen. No matter what we believe, no matter how good or what we do. And the other thing I'd like to say is that Paul doesn't help anybody, okay? The Spirit does it. He just works through me.
Yes.
It's not me. Listen, I'm a man, I'm flesh and blood, I bleed, I hurt, and I have pain, and I wake up with headaches, and, yes. But what works through me is what does the healing. And for that, what I call my gift, I'm grateful, very, very much so. And sometimes I'm amazed, because I honestly, sometimes when I work with people, I don't remember what's said, what's done, or anything else. The Spirit guides me. When I work, I put my hands where I'm supposed to put them. I send energy where it's supposed to go. I listen, and I do that. That's just my job. But
yes,
it will be me. It's not me.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. Roisin, she's asking, she would believe, but she's sedated. So
she does believe in the spiritual healing power. Well, all I would say is this: I will try and hook into her. If Rosalind wants to contact me with a picture of her, because I've always found that when I do distance healing, I like to see what I'm looking at. Okay, yeah. Now she doesn't have to be in the hospital bed. Just a picture of this lady or this friend, and I will do my work from there, and I will do my best.
Yes, thank you very much. How do you? Okay, let's say somebody's not well, and they would ask you for help. How would you decide? Because I see you do many kind of healing, right? Spiritual healing, Reiki healing, shamanic healing, craniosacral healing, distance healing, gravity healing, hair candling. I'm curious about this. House blessing clearings, and mochi balls and shaman stones. So I'm curious, do people ask you for something in particular, or you choose what you feel is most appropriate for them?
Okay, a lot of people that come to me for shamanic healing, okay? Right. Shamanic healing is basically, it's a spiritual healing, okay? It's an energy healing. It's working with energy in that, okay? Gravity healing is a physical apparatus, okay? So it's a physical healing. The mochi balls work on energy balance, okay? male and female balance. So when somebody comes to me and I put them on a plinth, okay,
Yeah.
they might come for shamanic healing, but they might end up going out with something else, right? And what I do is I just listen.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever I'm told to do, I do. You know, and that's it. I had a guy who came in to me a little while ago, and he's actually come back to me quite a bit, and he had a problem with his shoulder. So he came for a physical healing, you know, and I spoke to him, and I spoke to him about gravity and how it works. And he came and he said to me, you know, I don't think you can help because I've been at this you know, physiotherapist for 6 months, and I've been here and I've been there and I've been everywhere. And I said, well, look, I'm not guaranteeing you anything. I'm only guaranteeing you that I'll do my best. Okay. So I put him on it. One treatment, he had no pain.
Wow.
Okay. One treatment, he had no pain. And he left here and he said to me, I can move my shoulder and I feel great. I did it with another lady in Wicklow.
Yes.
And I did the very same thing. She had a problem with her shoulder. And because I'm also a personal trainer and a gym instructor,
Yes.
I know the body physically also. Yes. So, you know, I know where the muscles are attached and where they go and where they don't go.
Yes.
So when I'm working with you at a physical level, like I'm looking at your body and I'm going, mm-mm. And when I look at you, I see your shoulders down, your head's tilted, you know, or whatever it might be, whatever way you walk, your hip forward, your knee back. So I will look at all those physical aspects of you. But if you come into me for healing, you're going to get a healing. I don't know what type of healing you're going to get. You know, but you're going to get one. And if they say to me, okay, you're doing shamanic healing, okay, you need to put gravity under her head and on her back because, and I'll do that, you know, and I'll hand you the mochi balls and I'll say, okay, your energy's out. Because when I'm working with somebody, I'll feel them and I'll feel there's a block here, there's a block there, it's cold here, it's cold there. And then I go, okay, we need to open this energy field so everything works. And you'll find that, you know, with a lot of people, they kind of go, oh, how do you know? You know, well, I don't know. I don't know. It just works.
Thank you. Yeah, but also I'm reading, you're also a personal trainer, as you say, and a life coach. Would you say that because of all because of healing work, even when you just do life coaching, when you are being a personal trainer, I would say, yeah, but this is my question for you. I don't want to say things that, would you say that some of your healing abilities, so to speak, they come through anyway, even when you are working as?
I do a lot of counseling as well. You know, I do counseling online as well. And what I do is, I will never lead anybody into anything. Mm-hmm. I will let you tell me what it is. Now, I will probably know anyway. You know, I've done that. I've worked with people, but I will allow you to come to that.
Yes.
Conclude yourself and go with it. But even as I will be very intuitive, and you know, I'm very empathic also. So I just let it happen. I don't try to control it, you know, and I allow the people or the person that's in front of me to bring it to me, because I can say that, you know, and then you put an idea in somebody's head, you know, and you're leading them. Yeah. And if you do that, you're doing the wrong thing. You've got to let them come with it. You know, you can't lead them and say, oh, you know, you got this problem because maybe your father didn't love you enough, so you're insecure. Okay. And they're going, oh yeah, you know, maybe you're right, you know. And unfortunately then, you know, they'll say, I went to see your man, Grey Wolf, okay, or Paul or whatever. And he said, yeah. Okay. Because one of the things I've noticed in healing, and one of the things I've noticed in life in general, is this: people don't want to be responsible for themselves. They want somebody else, because they can come back and say, but you told me it didn't work out, but you said I should do it. Yes. You know, and so you've got to be very careful in how you approach people and how you counsel people. And for me, I allow the person to tell me, and I listen, and then I'll say, well, would you not think of this, or would you not think of that, or would you not do this? And I'll throw it back at them, and I'll put an idea there and say, okay, now, you know, look at it from this point of view. Well, what about this, or what about that? But I will always allow the person to do the work. I'm only there as a facilitator. I'm not there to perform miracles by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I just do my best.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, and Roisin, by the way, she says, fantastic, much appreciated about what you said about a friend not being well. And Mariella is saying, do you agree with this? It's a statement, but I guess it's almost a statement for you to see what you think. So we are spirituality, the result of our actions, our thoughts, our operations, our sensitivity. We are energy in continued evolution. We are little parts of a big universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she got it. Yeah, she got it.
I would agree with it as well. By the way, guys.
The only disagreement I'd have with that is this.
Yes.
We are the universe. We're part of everything.
Yes.
So we're not little in any way. And it's like if you're going to put in, you know, we're little, you're demeaning yourself. You're saying we're only, you know, and we're not only, we are.
Yes.
The whole thing.
I totally agree. You're right. That's something I always say as well. Outside and inside, they're concepts. There's no outside, there's no inside, there's no out there, there's no inside. Yes, it's just one. I like to say like energy soup, a big energy soup. Wow, thank you so much. We only have 2 minutes left, but I like to tell everybody, and this is the great good news, that if you liked what Paul said, you are going to be getting much, much more of this. And if you have any other questions, keep them and ask him directly, because I'm not sure, but sometimes in September, he's going to start doing some lives on Bridges of Light International. So it's going to be with us. It's going to be part of the family.
I think the 11th of September is the first one.
September the
11th.
11th of September. Wonderful.
I think that's the first one, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I'd like to say, anybody who wants to get in contact with me, I'm on Facebook. You can get me through Facebook, and we can take it from there. And if I can help anybody in any way, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Mariella says, thanks, Paul. You're a great help. Sylvia says, marvelous experience. Thank you both so much. Bless you. Thank you. Bless you for being with us. Yes, I love conversating with you. I didn't really know you well, but I love your philosophy, the way you view things. And yeah, thank you so much. And I love the fact that you're like, you don't beat around the bushes, so to speak. What it is, it goes straight to the point.
Like I said, it gets me into trouble, but you know what, I'll deal with that. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. You're a lovely man, and hopefully we can talk again.
Thank you. Yes. Rosie say, oh, we were privileged. And oh yes, tell everybody, tell us your name and surname, because so they can find you on Facebook. So
it's Paul McNevin.
Paul McNevin. But everybody, I'm gonna write, if you look on the title of this live, it's written. If you look at the post, I'll make it in a comment anyway. I'll make it in a comment so you can befriend him and you can ask him privately all the questions you want to ask him, or contact him for whatever he has to offer. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Paul. Now, this is the funny part of the evening, because I know how to start Zoom and Facebook, but I don't know how to end it.
Let
me just
Gaetano will get us off. He'll cut us off.
No, okay, one sec. I can see this. Okay, when I try, this should be okay. By the way, anybody knows how to end this? 1 second.
Hold on. I don't
want to stop everything. Like I don't want to lose this, but I think. Stay with me. Okay.
Stop video? No.
No, but I want to stop. Yeah. Okay. I want to stop everything. Like okay. I don't want to lose this, but escape for okay. Should be closing it. And now I should close us as well. And this should finish it. Ciao, Paul.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night. That's it. And